So part number 2 of this video, we're going to get into these two players' swings and break down some points on why I think Dustin Johnson has a more optimal swing. What is he kind of doing differently, and why is he a little bit more consistent than Koepka? So first, disclaimer, they have different camera angles here. I understand that. Just because there's different camera angles doesn't necessarily mean you can't analyze the golf swings. Now, you can't analyze certain parts of the golf swing and draw certain angles and draw certain lines and be accurate. I 100% agree with that, and I would never do that. But what you can do is you can basically pick apart basic little items that are easy to see from any angle and basically discuss those topics and come to some type of conclusion. So that is what we're going to do in this video. So let's take Brooks Koepka up first and kind of just start looking at his golf swing. So as he starts taking it back, we can see Brooks Koepka has a little bit more of that modern takeaway look. You see a lot more players almost getting, if anything, supinating this lead wrist or kind of curling it under almost, and getting less extension in this wrist and kind of getting club head outside hands and getting kind of this look in the backswing. You're seeing that more and more and more, which I'm a fan of. I kind of like it. I don't teach it to all my students, but I teach it to a decent amount. Another thing to look at, his toe is basically angled off at this, right? So his toe is not open a lot, i.e. he hasn't pronated in the lead wrist a lot to open up that face. If it was open, it'd be a little bit more kind of toe pointing up towards the sky here. Obviously, it's still down towards the ground. From this position, once we get him up to kind of left arm parallel or lead arm parallel, somewhere right around here, we're going to see that his trill side knee is still staying a little bit in flexion, which is becoming kind of a popular move with some of the bombers on the PGA Tour, but not all of them. If you guys know my teaching philosophy and not really philosophy, let's call it my teaching methodology that I like to teach in terms of swing mechanics, I'm not a huge fan of keeping the trill side knee in flexion. I actually like to see it extending slightly, which allows the hips to churn more, which I think allows players to use the pressure in the grounds a little bit more efficiently throughout the backswing. But you can still obviously play to a very high level without doing that, right? And that's why I think methodology is pretty overrated, to be honest. But let's keep going. So as we keep going up to the top of the golf swing, we're going to see that right about here, we can see that Brooks Koepka has kept kind of that supination feel and that little almost flexion look and getting the club face very shut, or kind of serve and drink, some people would like to call it, at the top of the swing. From this position, we're going to see the lead wrist reflexing even a little bit more as he kind of shallows out the club. We're really going to see him have this drive and hold with this elbow look. He's really driving the elbow out in front of him, which might cause some other things here in the future that we're going to talk about, but he definitely loves to drive the elbow. And I would say the reason why he's doing it is because he's trying to support that strong face. But this is going to be kind of a very key point, because the way that Koepka tries to support the strong or shut face relative to what DJ does is going to be the main differences on why I think DJ has a more optimal swing. So basically what I'm trying to say is pay attention right now. So as he drives into the elbow, Koepka gets into a fairly good position 6. Now, I know the camera is angled off to the right a touch, and it's obviously lower to the ground than I would normally use if I was teaching someone and I wanted to have the angles I'm used to seeing and measuring. But even from this angle, you can still tell Koepka is relatively starting to get into this kind of stuck position. We can already start seeing that his lead knee is subtly starting to extend a little early. His chest is coming out of his front bend a little bit early. His heel is coming off the ground a little bit early, a la kind of like a Justin Thomas. And you're really going to start seeing him extending from this position. Watch this. See how his whole body's starting to extend? And then from here, what he does really good, and the reason why I still think he's a great ball striker, is he has a really stable rate of closure, which means his toe isn't churning over very rapidly through the impact zone. And we can see this because we have slow-mo camera on this one. And we can see how stable this face is through the impact zone, even though his body's completely stalled out, which is incredible, right? You don't see a lot of players who are as stalled out as Koepka is and still be able to not flip their wrist through, right? That just means he has a lot of forearm strength, and he's really just kind of driving and holding, which is incredible for how stuck he is. Now from here, from pretty much this click It's about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. So we're like maybe around 16 clicks he starts to somewhat move his body, but his body is not moving through any of that, right? Which means he's incredibly stalled out. Now, why is his body not moving? Well, it has to kind of go with the lead pelvis ideas. There's a ball and socket on the lead pelvis. If you extend early in transition, you're getting that ball up towards the top of the socket. When you lock that in place, the mid-spine to thoracic can't rotate. So when he's staying and he's extending, he can't rotate the upper body. All he can really do is extend, and the arms are the only thing that can move independently of that, and not the mid-spine, right? The mid-spine will not be able to rotate because that ball and socket idea is locked in place, but the arms can move. And that's basically what you're seeing is the arms moving, the body not moving. So right about here, we're going to see that the level of his lead pelvis kind of lowers right about here, and then he's able to start rotating his chest through because he has the ball at the socket now, or the ball at the top of the socket has gone down a bit, which allows the mid-spine to rotate now. Now you start seeing him rotating through the shot. So let's go take a look at DJ and kind of see how he's a little bit different with the way that he manages his, I would say, very shut face. So when we take DJ up to the top of the swing, now unfortunately this swing is not going to be in slow-mo as well. The camera moves a little bit as well, but again, for the purposes of this video, we can still use this video. Haters, if you're going to go hate, please leave a comment. I would love to hear from you. I will respond back accordingly. Okay, let's go from here. So DJ, takeaway is subtly different, right? DJ almost gets a little bit more lead wrist pronation than Koepka does at this point. So if we take Koepka back, we can see a little bit difference in the way the wrists move. DJ also has a little bit more extension in this wrist, so he's getting a little bit more of kind of this look. That's pretty common. If we know DJ, you know he has that little kind of takeaway trigger move that gets this look basically. Now from here, DJ has maybe a little bit less shut of a face than Koepka does at this point. And as well, his arms are a little bit more away from his body than Koepka's are, who Koepka kind of gets club head outside hands while dragging hand path inside. DJ kind of has hand path work out as he kind of rolls the club face and gets pronation and gets the extension move right there. Takeaways are kind of important, kind of not. It just really kind of depends on the player, but they do have differing takeaways. But that's not really the most important part of this analysis. So as we get him up to Koepka up to the top and we get DJ up to the top, we're going to see a slightly different look, right? So Koepka, even though the angle is off, has a little bit more flexion in the knees. Now, I'm going to draw an angle here. I'm not saying that this angle is, if we went on 3D capturing systems, was correct. I'm not saying his knees were in 150 degrees of flexion. I'm using it as a reference point, guys, just so you guys can kind of get a better visual of what's going down. But I would say that DJ has a little bit less flexion in the trail side knee than Koepka does. So what does that mean? That means that DJ has allowed the hips to churn a little bit more, which has got him a more hip depth. And it's also, I think, getting him a better chance of getting the pressure on the instep of this trail foot. Now, why is that really important? Well, it's really important because when DJ starts transitioning, whenever you have the pressure in the correct part on that trail foot, now you can grip the ground and start churning and ripping the ground, which then causes rotational forces, right? Which gets you rotating, right? I don't think Koepka is really doing that as much as DJ is. And you can kind of see this just by the way his body just immediately starts kind of extending. So you don't really see him getting down around in flexion and churning and getting this lead arm abduction look. He's more so kind of just, he squats down a little bit, and then from here he just starts extending and he stops his rotation. DJ, on the other hand, we're going to see him kind of churning into this lead shoulder. Watch his head start churning in. That's lead arm abduction right here, what he's doing. Club shaft shallows out nicely, and then when we get him to this position 6, DJ's shoulders and chest are in a whole different spot than Koepka's. Now, I'm not going to draw angles because I know that these camera angles are different, so they're not going to be relative, but you guys can already see visually the difference between these two players. We can see that Koepka, his knees have gone and extended. DJ's, if anything, have reflexed and gotten even lower to the ground. Koepka's chest is coming up and out of it. DJ's is staying in front bend as he's churning. Now from here, I would say Koepka has driven his hands more forward and he's getting this radius really small, so his hands are getting already really close to the golf ball and the club head is lagging behind. DJ still has some width right here, so he's not really stuck at this position. Now from this place, we see DJ continue to churn and then basically get on top of the plane a little bit more and not so much from underneath. Koepka kind of just keeps extending and then is really just relying on his ability to not flip. He has to just be, he has strong forearms, so he has to rely on just this and drive. DJ can continue to kind of rotate through the shot because he's not stalled out. Again, he hasn't got that socket, ball and socket idea, the lead pelvis. He hasn't gotten that that ball all the way to the top of the socket, so his thoracic can still rotate. That's the biggest difference between these two players. Now, as you see Koepka here, see how his body is, his upper or his mid-spine, the thoracic is not churning and rotating. If you look at DJ, he's churned a whole hell of a lot more in this position, right? I.e., Koepka's chest is still kind of facing somewhere this way. DJ's chest is still kind of facing somewhere this way, and he's rotated just a subtle bit more. You're really going to start seeing the differences from here to here as DJ is allowing his chest to open up and churn. And then as well, he's just not stalled out in this position, is basically what I'm trying to say. Koepka really doesn't let his upper body start releasing until right about here. And then DJ is pretty much all the way fully rotated at the finish. And Koepka never quite gets fully rotated until maybe about there he starts rotating. So anyways, guys, what does this all really mean? Well, I would say that DJ maybe has a little bit better chance of having a stabler rate of closure under the gun of tournament play. Now, you guys might argue this because you're going to say that Brooks Koepka won the US Open and the PGA Championship this year. I'm going more so off not major wins. I'm going off of the whole season idea of 2018, and the whole season idea of 2018 DJ had the more optimal golf swing, and we can just kind of see it, the way that he moves his body a little bit differently, and the way that he handles the shut face is more so what I would say a fast swinging player who wants the shut face should handle that shut face. Getting a little bit more lead arm abduction and churning into that lead shoulder, making sure that the level of the pelvis stays in LPT or left pelvic tilt a little bit longer than Koepka's. And then from here, because he's stayed in LPT longer, now he's able to release his mid-spine, the thoracic, through the shot and get a little bit less stalled out, and as well, I think, relieve some pressure off the lumbar spine more effectively than someone like Koepka. So, in review, my claim is that Dustin Johnson has a more optimal golf swing. I would say his mechanics prove that in this analysis we just did, as well as his statistics proved it in 2018. Now, if we want to argue, is he the most optimal golf swing out of these two players for a multiple span of years, let's definitely go down. Let's get that comment section going. Let's start a debate, because I'd love to see that, and I would love to see the evidence and see who is right and who is wrong, because I really don't know, because I haven't done the research, right? So I would love for you guys to do the research, and let's start a conversation. Let's see who's really better. But in the year of 2018, and what I've seen with these two golf swings, DJ has the more optimal golf swing. All right, guys, so if you guys haven't already, smash that like button. Let me know if you guys like these types of videos. Leave a comment, and as always, hit that little red subscribe button down there. All right, guys, best of luck and play some golf out there.